Advanced Utility Solutions and TGM Cars. Thanks to the sponsors. The team last night, obviously we played Leeds United and we've been in a good vein of form. 13 points from the last 6 games. Leeds, on the other hand, have only won 1 in the last 6. They've had 4 draws. So we were the informed team. And since January, I had written us off. I mean, to be in the top 6, when you look back and reflect in January, and that was my reason for saying it. Why have I always said I don't think we'll make it? And I'll be honest, I still don't. I hope we do. Of course I hope we do. That's what the goal is and the ambition. But obviously in January, losing Latty Laugh, going to the MLS, losing Dalton due to injury. We've had 5 straight defeats. We're conceding goals, regular, inconsistent. The football was inconsistent. It's sometimes boring. Fans on the teams back at certain times since January, or on individuals back, or the coaches back, and the pressure was building. But here we are, or before last night, 6 games to go and sitting 5th in the league. Incredible. You know, Middle Carrick achieves top 6. I think it's an incredible achievement. I really do. I still think it's failure if we finish outside, but what's happened since January till now, don't forget 4 centre-halves out. Johnny Howson, a midfielder, a makeshift centre-half. Borges was in there up until last night. Obviously, Borges got injured against Blackburn, so we had to change it. Van der Berg come in. But reflecting on the game, I don't know, something getting in my way there. Reflecting on the game, first half, Leeds controlled it. There's no ifs or buts. And I did say in the lounge, I host the Legends Lounge at Riverside, and I just says, Johnny Howson and Borges has been fantastic, out of position, but played very well. But tonight, we could get done with a lack of pace. And after 2 minutes, we get done, lack of pace. Ball get played in behind Dick Steele. 1 ball, first ball, right behind the full-back. They drove to the byline, squared it, and the centre-halves were missing. And the Welsh lad put it in the back of the net. And that was 1-0 down. They did go on and score another 2 goals. When I got home, I watched replays, and all the pundits and everybody in the television were all saying that their 2 goals was onside. But we get beat 1-0, but 1 or 3, it doesn't matter, we get beat. Second half, we stepped it up a bit, but in the last third, some of our shooting and decision making was poor. There was some rash shots at goal. Bouncing by across shots, bouncing by the far post or over the bar or leaning back. But Leeds, hey, look, they're at the top for a reason. We knew they were a good side. Yeah, they'd hit a bit of poor form, but the cream always comes to the top. And unfortunately, after 2 minutes, just like we did against Blackburn, we scored after a minute. Conway scored a great goal. I mean, Conway had the ball in the net. I didn't hear anybody saying that was onside, whatever, but it never counted. But the goal we lost was just sheer pace and 1 ball beat a back line. So where do we go now? Obviously, we've got Millwall on Saturday. Josh Coburn scored last night. That's how mad the Championship is. They go to Sheffield United, Wilder's team, who are flying, and odds on to be, well, they're in the playoffs, but odds on still to be automatically promoted. They go there and win Millwall. So they're 3 points behind us now, and we play them on Saturday. The good news is young Josh Coburn can't score against us because he'll be in the stand. Because obviously part of the contractual thing is we put him out on loan. He's still our property, but he cannot play against Middlesbrough. So that might be a wee blessing. But Josh Coburn did score the goal last night. Millwall did 1. Mugger's team get done. Bristol City crept into the top 6 after beating Tony Mowbray's side, West Bromwich Albion. They scored in the last minute. I mean, I'm obviously concentrating in Middlesbrough. I come home, I'm in bed, put the telly on, probably midnight, 12:30, watch some of the reruns of games that's been played, and Bristol, last minute they scored. So, before we were hunting the top 6, now we're in the top 6, we're getting hunted. The pack's chasing us now. And comes pressure when it's like that. I mean, tonight, Coventry, they play Portsmouth. They can go above us, so we can get knocked out the top 6 with Millwall on Saturday. That's how nit and tuck it is. There's no... I still think there'll be a lot of... I think it's still going to be hitty-missy for now at the end of the season. There's going to be results you go, wow, what a result that was, or how did they get beat, or how did we win? It's going to be like for now, peaks and troughs to the end of the season. But we're now down to 5 games. My old mate Tony Mowbray, I think he's got a difficult time at West Brom. They've got a couple of bit, well, beat last night, as I say, last minute, beat last Saturday. They've got another big game coming up. But Burnley, they're a team that people fear because of the defensive qualities. Let very, very few goals in. They could be in the top 2. But it's about us, Middlesbrough. Being the top 6 after all that's going on since January, I think it's quite an achievement to be in the top 6. I asked the question last night. I think there's about 250 people in the lounge. I says, hands up if you thought we'd be in the top 6 with 6 games left. After selling my best striker in January, the players we recruited rather in January have been disappointing. The keeper's been very good. Travers, I have to say, is a big plus. Junior is starting to look a player. Giles has been a waste of time. I questioned it at the time. This is after the event. I thought, can't defend, bring them into a team that can't defend. Ludicrous. Lazy recruitment. Big Ian Asho, either he's not fit or, yeah, he just looks a wee bit cumbersome at times and not... It looks as if he's lacking a bit of confidence as well. And it doesn't help the lad when he gets cheered. I think it was more cheers than boos, and it's a sarcastic cheering that when he get taken off. I didn't think we get taken off, but the cheers, yeah, I don't really get it, but you're entitled to do what you want as fans. You pay your money and you can shout and boo whenever you want, but I still don't see any real benefits of doing that. And another thing I didn't get, Bamford, and please get involved in it, and tell me what your mentality is. I've been here 40 years. I know the mentality of a lot of fans. And I get some of it, but sometimes I don't. Bamford, first time round was brilliant for Middlesbrough. 19 league goals. 19. Should have got 20. But everybody raved about Akpom getting... I was the last guy to score it 32 years ago. Akpom did it. Bamford would have did it if Aitor Karanka would have played him up the middle rather than on the wing. But anyway, he leaves, he comes back. Wasn't quite as fluent or as good. 6 million, I think he cost. He scored 1 goal since January, along with Rudy just said, who scored none. But then they booed him, and I'm thinking, well, why are you booing Bamford? I don't get it. What is it with the fans? Why do you cherry pick? Certain players leave. All the players that leave, certain ones come back and they get behind them and cheer them and they're on their side. And yet here's Bamford, who by all accounts is a gentleman. He's never said anything detrimental to Middlesbrough, about Middlesbrough. And he gets heavily booed last night. I don't get it. And by the way, his goal was a goal. It was a good goal as well. But anyway, if you want to get involved, please get involved. We need a better goalkeeper. Gren Steele, a better goalkeeper. Oh wait, Gren, what are you on about? He didn't have a chance last night, did he? We get caught out, 1 ball, inside left, if you've not seen it, inside left, halfway line, played behind Dick Steele, ball get whipped in, the 2 centre-halves, and Johnny Howson had a good game, but Johnny was treading water getting back, and the time he comes in, the keeper and the full-back had come in to try and cover, it was too late. Steve Daly says, with a lack of firepower, it will cost us eventually. Conway has done okay, Bazog was atrocious, Ian Asho is unfit. Azaz should be behind Conway and Foz maybe on the wing. Well, the Foz thing, I still don't get the Foz, the hysteria around Foz. Oh, Foz is going on, he's going to do this and do that. I've not seen it. I've not seen it for a year and a half. Hi, Bernie. Ian Asho was diabolical. I guess it's for Steve Horn. Diabolical last night, and thanks to bad refereeing, the score was lower. It could have been 3. Stephen, we all know now, in hindsight's a wonderful thing, and this is one of the things I question. So the likes of Leeds, let's switch it to Leeds. They're definitely in the top 6. They might not win it. They've been the top 6. They could be top. They could automatically get promotion. Millions of pounds to go up at their disposal and sponsorship and whatever. But because of lack of VAR, it might come down to goal difference. And those 2 goals that were disallowed last night, who were goals, well, everybody on the television who are watching it over and over again said they were definite goals. That could be detrimental to Leeds getting a boatload of money and getting promotion. For me, the Championship should... I'm not a fan of VAR. I'd rather scrap the lot of it. But if it's in the Premier, why are we not bringing it into the Championship? These are big game for certain teams. Mohammed says, hello, Bernie, Joseph Slavin. Hope you're okay. Hi, Mohammed. It just wasn't our night. Have to beat Millwall. Bamford is hated, sadly, because he plays for Leeds. Thought of him leaving at the end of the season at Leeds. Away. But Mohammed, okay, let's switch it. Mark Viduka played for Leeds. He came to Middlesbrough. So he's an excellent player. He never gets stick. And he was some player, by the way. So does it only mean one way? If you go to Leeds, you're hated. But if you come from Leeds, you're not hated. Nasho needs dropping for Whittaker. Best game. Look, Whittaker is not nailed down a position. I hear he's a right winger by trade. We've paid 5-6 million for him, so we've not paid peanuts. It's a lot of money for a club like ours. But he's not nailed down a position yet. McGree, so Ian Asher is playing more to the right, but McGree was on the bench last night, wasn't he? So the team, if you don't know the team, sorry, I usually read the team. It was Travers in goal, Junior, Dixdale the fullback, Vandenberg, Housen, Bazog on the left, Ian Asher on the right, Ish, Morris Hackney, Azaz and Conway. On the bench was Glover, Beleza, Fry, McGree, Whittaker, Foz, Giles, Woolston and McCabe. So, why is McGree not getting a game? Hi Bernie, I think the team played well. Lack of scoring was a problem. Daniel Kelly. Well, we had chances. We did have chances. I mean, Bazog miscued a couple by the post. There was one, it was a difficult technique. He sort of took a nasty bobble before he got him. He shanked it. It took us 60 minutes to have our first shot on target. Was Hackney. Hackney came busting through, 20 yards, middle of the goal, shot straight at the keeper. And then Bazog come in the inside right and the keeper made a good save. But Bazog had a couple of wayward shots and a few he's did. You know, Azaz by whatever. But not ruthless enough, not good enough in the last third. But I keep questioning, how come we've only got Conway as our main striker? I still don't get it. If you've got ambitions, you must have more than one striker. Yeah, Ian Asher, but Ian Asher's not set the header alight. Ian Asher's getting stick at the minute. Ian Asher will be gone in the summer. So does it really bother him if we're up or not, or in the playoffs or not? Does it bother any of the loan players? I don't know the answer, but I presume it doesn't, because the parent club's still paying them money. They still get a contract. They don't need to prove anything here. And that's my problem with loan players. I know we've had loan players in the past and we've covered it time and time again. You know, with the lads when I call them Ramsey and Archer, they were very, very good. But you do get we've had more than a few loan players that come and tossed it off. What do you mean? Come on, we need two good standard goalkeepers and we simply don't have them. I think that's what he means. Well, Gren, hold on a minute. We've got Saul Bryn, good goalkeeper, was number one, injured. We've got Dieng, who was the number one for Saul Bryn, injured. We've got Glover, who was on the squad last night. So what do you mean, two goalkeepers? We've got four. But unfortunately, two's injured. We've got 5 centre-backs, 4 of them are injured. That's why Johnny Howson's playing at the back. And we've got 1 centre-forward. Ian Asher's on loan. We've only got one that belongs to us. I find it farcical. I don't understand the whole... I don't understand it. 1 centre-forward that belongs to us. Coburn's our playing property, but he's at Millwall scoring goals. They could be up there. They could be in the mix now. They're 3 points behind us. The play is Saturday. As I mentioned earlier, Coburn can't play because of the contractual, because he's still a player, and I get that. But he could end up being alone at a team that's going to beat us and be above us. Playoffs would be a false dawn, but you have to be in it to win it. Just get on the playoffs. We will go from there. Need injured players to come back to have a sniff of it. Cheers, Bernie. That was AJ Styling. Look, we're in the mix. And 5 games to go, still in the mix. I think personally think it's an incredible achievement. You know, when you see all that's going on since January. I mentioned at the top, people has just joined us. January. Doak injured, out. He's not coming back. He's gone. Don't care who says what. He ain't coming back. So Doak's gone. He was the most creative, natural right winger we had. He'd skill. He was direct, pacey, creative. Scored the odd goal. injured. Lackey Laugh, top scorer. He's one behind, despite leaving in January, I think he's only one behind Conway. Top scorer, gone. I get the money side, but as a team, it dents the confidence in the side. He's gone. So what do? We bring in 5 in January, and the goalkeeper, and juniors come onto a game, but the other 3 haven't functioned. Whittaker's not held down a position. Gels was a fast for the goal. And Big Ian Asher is huffing and puffing like a steam train. I think Leeds were hard done by with the goals, but I still think they'll struggle in the Premiership. Oh, Steve, listen, if that Leeds team get into the top flight, they ain't going anywhere. They would have to invest heavily, like any teams. I mean, the 3 went up last year. They were all down, aren't they? The golf's getting greater in the top flight. But I keep hearing people, why do we want the playoffs when people keep saying to me, I don't want to get promotion. Why do you want the playoffs? Getting in the playoffs would be a success for Michael Carrick because everything that's went against him. Don't forget, 5-6 weeks ago, 5 straight defeats. Injuries galore. At times the football was boring, predictable, slow, laboured. That was it last night. They were zipping it around fast, sharp as razors. We were slow and sluggish, and we did pick up second half, but too much damage done. And they opened us time and time again, whipped it in. But saying that, we had a couple of great balls to the left, I think it was Junior, when there was nobody getting in and gambling for tap-ins, what you call a tap-in. Hello from Romania, Graham McTiernan. Hiya, Graham. Graham McTiernan in Romania. Have you seen Hadji yet? I always ask that. Hadji was my favourite Romanian footballer. David Fletcher says, Bernie, was at the game last night? You can't afford to carry anybody at this level. I don't know what Iheanacho brings to the team. They never laid a glove on them in the first half. You can't play makeshift defence against the likes of Leeds. Players get found out. Bazog is one, Andazaz another. Did you see a tackle he pulled out of? I think I did, yeah. And I thought Hackney and Morris were 2 of our better players second half. David, that's a fair reflection of last night. Probably similar to Assie. I thought Morris and Hackney put in a shift, closed down, harassed, tried to get forward, defended well. Yeah. But I did say before the game, in front of the people I was talking to in the lounge, that I did fear that the pace could cause us problems. And it did. It did. Skill is one thing for defenders. But if you're a 37-year-old Johnny Howson, and I'm a whippersnapper, greyhound, 18, 20-year-old, give me the ball, I'm going to Howson every day of the week. I'm not saying they did that, but what I'm saying is, it's like when Ayling plays, if I'm a winger up against Sterling, Ayling's obviously injured at the minute, but if he's playing right back last night, you get the ball to the Welsh lad, he's going to run riot down that wing. Put the ball ahead of him, gone. If Ayling jumped in the carry, wouldn't have caught him. So, pace is a big fear factor for defenders. Skill is, but if you're blessed with skill and pace, then it's bingo. McGree hasn't been fit all season. Until he's fit, he can't be considered. Oh, Jeff, he shouldn't be on the bench. He should be playing with under 21s. That's where you get your fitness, playing games. Not sitting on the bench every game and not getting on. So, I agree to disagree. He's not been fit all season. I've felt up with McGree as in a fan of his. He's tossed it off for over a year. Injuries, we don't know what it really is. Went into international duty. Not played the bread and butter stuff, playing for us, the guys that pay his wages every week. So I've lost a bit of respect for McGree, rightly or wrongly. I don't know all the ins and outs, but what I see is he's got a long-term contract and he's not delivered the goods. And when he's played in bit pieces, he's not really done it. It's a shadow of the player that arrived. Steve Hill says, how can we start on fire against Blackburn, then against Leeds sit back? Well, Steve, I think it's obvious. Blackburn are crap. Beat again last night. Not won a game under the new manager. I think he's been under there, is it 7 games or 8 games? He's not won one. I think he's only drew one and been beat the rest. Leeds are a different proposition. They're totally different. Leeds have got pace. They're 20 odd points ahead of us. They're clamouring to finish in the top 2. Excuse me. I've usually got a drink. Frog in my throat. So Leeds are a different ball game. You know, Luton Town, near the bottom of the league, probably going to get relegated. Oxford, poor team. Blackburn, poor team. Leeds are a good team. They hit a wee bit of a bad spell. But 4 draws, it's not been 4 defeats. I think it was 1 draw, 1-1 and 4... 1 win, 1 loss and 4 draws. Play 6 million Whittaker, who's a player, and get Barzog back on the left. Get Azaz back through the middle. We're trying to accommodate Ian Asho. Thank you. Got water. Yeah, look, I don't really get the big Barzog, I think. I'd like to see him up the middle. I thought he was going to get an opportunity later on, but he got the hook. But he's playing all over the shop now. And we are playing players out of position. And we're gambling to a degree. The thing I like about Carrick now, he's playing a settled team, bar an injury. But he'll be a brave man to put a real Ian Asho out again on Saturday. Because Ian Asho, Blackburn should have scored at least one. He'd won first half, through in the middle, in the box, 1-1. Placed it by the left-hand post, should have scored, no it's a but. Second half at Blackburn, he got a couple of touches and shanked it, a pigeon off the stand. I've done that myself. And then last night, he was a way off the pace of the game. It does look as if he's a wee bit bulky. Sometimes he looks disinterested. Confidence may be at a low because he's not really played a lot of games in the last year. So he'd be fit to the lads. He's not played a lot of games, but I do question. We let Lathi Laugh go, who was a live wire, sparky, fast, closing down, harassing, scoring, creating. And we bring in Ian Asho, who is like something at a Madame Tussauds. It doesn't really move. I don't get it. How can somebody, a talent spotter, bring in that kind of play to replace Lathi Laugh? I don't get it. When I says Archer and Ramsey, they were small and let Lathi Laugh and zipped it around and squeezing and pressing them, working their ass off. But nah, I don't get it. The recruitment in January has been poor. Goalkeeper apart, juniors coming into it. And it's unfair really because they're joining an average team. Carrick's first season amazing. Last year hit and miss. This season, arguably one of our worst seasons. But we're in the top 6. Well, as it stands at the minute, before Coventry play. Colin Ibbotson says, I know Leeds should have been given 2 more goals, but the amount of chances we missed, we have at least earned a point. We couldn't hit a corner. Something about his arse with a tennis bat. Colin, I get it, but they had chances as well. What about the one that second half, they went down the right hand side, whipped it in, and the 2 of them, if they put their legs out and stretch and gamble and anticipating better, it's a tap in. They had a few great balls. We had a couple. They had a few. But a point, I think we might have got arrested if we got a point last night. Cause Leeds are a quality outfit and Blackburn having been punching all season, bang average side. So because Leeds are a quality outfit, yeah, look, Leeds are far better and far greater. I knew it was going to be difficult last night. We all knew it was going to be difficult last night. And it was some Borough fans chatting to myself before the game. I said, I would be happy with a point. I would be happy. What's going on here? I'd be happy with a hold on a minute. I don't know what's. Tell you what. See the Alexas. I'm talking to you and the Alexas coming on. So where are we? I know Leeds should have been given. No, I've read that. Sorry. Adam Armstrong should have been a man. Graham McTiernan says we went on a winning streak with a team enforced on Carrick. When he chose the team, we lost 5 in a row. So we went on a winning streak with a team enforced in Carrick, and when he chose the team, we lost 5 in a row. He chose West Bromwich Albion over theirs. Who are we talking about? I've lost my train of thought. Is that Alexa? He chose West Brom over us. Great show, Billy. Game on. We are still in the mix. Have you still got your holidays booked? Laugh out loud up the Borough. Gary and Samantha. Hiya. Gary and Samantha Williams travel the country watching the beloved Borough. Big, passionate Borough fans, and never get too down, never get too carried away. And that's where you should be. Keep your powder dry. Start of the season, I seen who we brought in. I looked at the squad and I thought, top 6. All day long, I think we'll be top 6. When we hit January, I always knew it was going to be a trouble month. The window of opportunity turned into a window of whatever, and it wasn't in our favour. But we're still in the top 6. But I did plan my holiday. I thought, yeah, I'll go away after May the whatever, after playoffs, because I genuinely believed it. Well, we're still in the mix, but I still think, and this is before the Blackburn game, well, since the turn of January, I still don't think we'll do it. You can sit there and say you're negative. No, I'm not negative. It's the players that need to be super positive. They're the guys. We've all got an opinion, but we can't change it. A player, we can change our opinion, but we can't change the performances. That's what we carry in the players. They need to go out with that belief. But the difference now is, was it 10 weeks we were out the top 6? Was it 10 weeks? 10 games. Check it out. But it was something to do with 10, outside the top 6. So we were chasing the pack. So we were the hunters. And then when you get in there, then you're being hunted. And when you're being hunted, what them tossers that chases a fox, the pressure's on. The pressure's on, greater than ever. And we find that out now. We're in the top 6 and there's people want our scalp. They want us. They want to catch us. They want to knock us off a pedestal. So the pressure builds up. And can we handle it? Last night, Leeds with a better team. Saturday, can we go to Millwall and get a result? Get 3 points. Not a draw, 3 points. I need to read these, sorry. Like I say, AJ Selling says, like I said, if we have a recall clause for Coburn or pay whatever, we have to get him back. No time to waste at this point in proceedings. I think I may be talking out of turn, but I think he's gone for the season, but he can't play against us. I think it was to now at the end of the season, so I don't think we can recall him. Scott 94 says, any memories of Millwall, Bernie? Been a few times, and I think it's a myth. It's always quiet. Scott 94, no, I remember going to Millwall and must have been, I don't know what year it was, a few years into my Middlesbrough career, and it was all the dockers, and they were all nuts. They were all half drunk and nuts and shouting abuse. Even at a throwing, they wanted to kill you. And I always remember going in the dressing room, and don't forget it was winter, and the heating was off, the water in the shower was cold, the ceiling had tiles on it that were all flipped over. No, it was a daunting place to go to. I don't know how it is these days, but back then it was fairly daunting. At 37, Johnny Howson's still easily our best player. Well, that puts it in perspective. I agree with that. David Jackson, I agree with that. Johnny Howson, he's not got pace. I say again, Leeds, the first goal, there was 4 or 5 went missing. Johnny was one of them, but it started for the left-hand side, played in behind Dick Steele, cut across. Johnny Howson and Cole still getting back. They're nowhere to be seen. They're away behind the ball, and your man had put it in. James, Welsh lads, you keep calling them Welsh lads, steady James. As long as we make a financial profit, the club has had a good season, even if we fail to get promoted. Now, well, David, I agree, again, to disagree. I agree as a businessman, yeah, but I'm a fan. Yeah, we want the club to stay alive and be healthy. I get all that, and that's paramount. But you can't say it's been a good season when you go, well, we sell best players and you have 5 games in the bounce where we get beaten 5 consecutive games. Some of the football at times has been boring. I don't call that a good season. I think it's been this is the worst season so far in the 2.5 years that Michael Carrick's been here. I find at times I'm sitting there really frustrated. Look forward to next season, Bernie, with a big man, little man, striking force, Coburn and Conway, duo, up the borough. That's for Matt Scott. It's something a lot of people don't play with now. I mean, my guest last night was my former teammate, Paul Wilkinson. Me and Wilco had a partnership at Middlesbrough. 2 years reaped the rewards with John Henry, natural winger, on one wing, and Stuart Ripley on the other. And they would get balls and service into the box, and we would finish them off and get the rewards. But if I was a forward in today's team, I'd look to the right and think, Big Bird Zog's out there at the minute. 1 week he's left, now he's right. No natural right winger. Look in the left, no natural left winger. So, we've got no natural wingers. Whittaker's might be a winger, but I've not seen him playing it yet. Or pulling up trees. Some are fighting for survival, Bernie, up the borough. Yeah, I know that. Next season will be even harder. Birmingham and Wrexham have big money, as well as the 3 teams coming down with parachute payments. David Jackson, I agree with that as well. We said this most of the season, a consistent team, same lineup, unless of injuries, and we could have been in the playoffs, but a stronger position and one of the favourites. Steve Taylor. I said it all along, Michael Carrick's best season was his first season, didn't have his biggest squad, kept the same team barring injury, and it worked a treat. And the only time we messed about was just before we were in the playoffs, when we'd already qualified for playoffs. He started dropping Akpom and a few others, and then the wheels come off. We never recovered. Since then, he's like most coaches. They all shoot like figures. They all follow the same plans and whatever. And he was chopping and changing sometimes for the sake of it. Like Laugh would score 2, he'd be out the next game. Like Laugh would score another, he's out the next game. Don't get it. But now he's settled the team down and we're looking better for it. You know, sometimes is it designed a fluke? You know, Johnny Howson. Michael Carrick had no other option. What was he going to do? Ayling's injured, he could play in there. Johnny Howson, Van der Berg or Berzog. So that wasn't designed. Some are fighting for survival, go back like Gary Saman. Yeah, some are fighting for survival, but come on, we're Middlesbrough. We've been in the top 10 all season. But in the top 6. We were 5th last night. We could be knocked out tonight. And then the pressure's really on. But you look at the other teams that's up there, about a couple of months ago there was about 10 teams. I think there's about 6 genuine, serious contenders now. And we're still in it. All the good teams, who's this from? David Goldsborough. All the good teams that get promoted and stay up are super rich. We are not. I agree with that. I agree with that, David. Yeah. To compete at the very top level, you need to have money coming out your ears. And unfortunately, we have not. We're Middlesbrough. Coburn isn't the answer. He never scored much when he was here. If he was any good, they wouldn't have farmed him out on loan. Trevor. Well, you could say that about Iheanacho. Why is he loaned out? Is he good enough for Middlesbrough? You say about most players. I never thought for a minute that Michael Carrick fancied Coburn from the off. He's loaned him out a couple of times and obviously he's out at the minute, but I never thought for the outside looking in that Carrick fancied Coburn. Did I fancy Coburn? I think he's still raw, rugged, can put himself about, works his ass off. Is he well, he's not experienced because he's still fairly young, but he's a handful. He's different. He gives us a different option. Far from the finished article. I don't think we'd end up staying here 8-9 years at his hometown club, but he wore the shirt with pride and he put himself about. He was an honest kid. No, it's better. Is it not better than Coburn than Iheanacho? A guy who looks as if he doesn't want to be here. Let's not mess about. Let's be straight talking here. Actually, our best form last season was when Coburn was in the team. He linked up play. Yeah, the thing is, you could hold it here. He could win balls in the air. He was gangly. He was upwards. And he put himself about. He was different to the rest. You look at Conway. Conway runs about, works his backside off, and he's good at it. And he's got a great attitude. He's got a wee bit of edge to him. Sometimes over cocky. Don't like that, but that's probably the Cockney in him, although he played for Scotland. But yeah, Coburn was something different. We shouldn't be losing players in January. Have a team for the full season. They were bloody slow last night, Alex Smith. Too much passing sideways and back. Why not push it forward? Leeds did that in all. They done it first half. Nearly get caught a couple of times with us. No, I just find sometimes our play is slow, laboured and predictable, and it's easy to defend against. We have it along the back. Oh, we're keeping the ball. Yeah, but they just go into the 2 banks and say, come on, break us down. And because we've no natural width, we find it more difficult. What they did very well last night, both the wingers, whenever they get the ball and wherever they get the ball, both wingers would go straight to the sidelines. I played out to the left for when Peter Davenport signed for Middlesbrough. I was moved out to the left, so I get the role. What usually happens when the ball goes on to the right, the outside left will tuck in one, probably level with the post. And then as it comes across the field, they get back out. But Leeds never. The wingers never get dragged in. When it was on the right, the left winger stayed left wing, hugged the line, knowing that the fullback has to tuck in. So every time they get the ball, they will just switch and play. And every time, obviously, the time the fullbacks get there, they've got the ball under control and in possession. And that happened time and time again last night. And that was notable for me. And that was their outlets. And they never get dragged in, the wingers. They're obviously taught to do that. I think if I were Carrick, I'd use what the first team players start, but look to a youthful local lad that has pace and skill like Daniel Jones. He causes problems. So I think what Carrick is, I'd use what the first team players, I think he means lacking start, but look to the youth. But Stefan, is it Carrick that looks at the young team, or is it the director of football? I think the director of football controls more than Carrick. And all directors of football do up and down the country and in Europe. We shouldn't be losing players in January. I've read that. I have a team full season. They were bloody slow. Yes, I mentioned that. Sorry. Stephen Gerrard says Leeds United were not that good, but still had more pace than us. Well, pace is one of those things. You've either got it, you've not. I think many years ago, people would say I've got certain clubs employed pace coaches, and I think you can improve maybe a yard. Yard's fair enough, extra pace, but some guys are just born with it. Stuart Rittler was super quick. Traore was quicker than my car. Yeah, but pace is a big fear factor. Scroll 6 up, missed my question. Oh, here we go. Well, I've scored about 10 up and they're nowhere near 6. So, Johnny Howson on another great performance, Stephen Jarrett. Yeah, but Johnny be disappointed in the first 2 minutes because he was caught out like the rest is with the pace. One ball in behind the fullback, square ball. Johnny, another centre half, is went AWOL and ends up in the back of the net. So collectively, we all get done with one ball. Watch it and see where the players were on the defensive. You know, the Welsh lad had cut in from the right. He came for the right wing and came right in the back stick. Oh, well, no, the back stick. He went into the middle of the goal and scored it. They had proper wingers, which was the big difference between us yesterday. I was just mentioning that natural winger left and right required. Well, Steve, it was so obvious. They just hugged the lines, kept the shape, kept the balance, never get dragged in, and it was a treat for them. And we didn't know how to cope with it. As I say, when the ball's in one wing, our fullback has to tuck in, and did tuck in, and then they would switch it. They were good enough and had the vision to scan and switch 40, 50 yard passes. And then by the time the fullback reaction goes out there, they played 1-2 rounders. It's a natural thing being quick, but reading the game is learnt. Some of the passing last night was junior school passing. Yeah, some of the passing was a bit iffy. I get that. I was saying them 2 goals that were disallowed are a blessing in disguise. We are plus 11, West Brom plus 11, and Bristol not far behind in goals. I get what you're saying, Leslie. Yeah, I still think if Coventry won the night, I still think Coventry is going to be one of the 6. Lampard, last couple of games, he's played the top teams in their division, and they've been poor and they've got gubbed. They won tonight against 17th place Portsmouth. I think they'll be in there. Lampard has revitalised and confidence and boosted morale and results when he first came in. Last couple of games have been poor. Sheffield stuffed them, battered them, humiliated them. They get beat against that, but they're playing the top boys. Just like we were last night. We have to go to Millwall, and don't we come away saying, some Borough fans last night, oh, a draw will be alright, innit? A draw's not alright. It might be, but let's get the intentions to win the game. Millwall, we have to go and win the game. Another draw and 1 or 2 results go against us, then. And as I say, we are now getting hunted because we're in the top 6. And with that comes more pressure. I'll read a few of these out because I've no, I never read these now. No, I've just looked at the time now. Matty says Ian Ashall booed off. No, he wasn't booed. He wasn't booed. I think he was cheered off, and I think there was a bit of sarcasm there, if I'm being honest. What did you make of it? Well, look, it happens. I've been here 40 years in Middlesbrough, wore the colours, wore the shirt, commentated, support the team, do the lounges. I know the mentality of the Borough public, and up and down the country, we're all similar. But I know here in Middlesbrough, this season, the team's been booed off at full time, booed off at half time. Individuals have been booed. Michael Carrick's been booed. It's part of the culture. It's what we are and what we do. We get frustrated. We vent our spleens, rightly or wrongly, we do it. We might go home and reflect and think we shouldn't have booed him so early, but that's what we do, so it's nothing new. Colin says, how bad was our shooting last night, Bernie? Well, it took us 60 minutes to get a shot off. And that was Hackney, middle of the goal, shot it straight down the keeper's throat. It was a comfortable save. And then Bazog was the other one. It wasn't a great deal after that. A lot of shots off target. But I'm never critical of players that shoot off target. At least they've got the balls and confidence to have a shot. What annoys me is when they play it square and then play it wide and then back square again and then over to the other side. That for me is not taking responsibility. It means your bottle's gone and you're not confident enough to have a shot. I used to get called greedy B. You're a greedy this, greedy that, eat the ball, whatever. There's a wee bit of confidence and arrogance. That's what strikers are. Strikers should be that. Levy says, Levy, I heard you saying before and after the Blackburn game you still don't fancy us getting in the top six. Well, I don't. If you... People say we're in form. Up until last night, we're in form. How do you define form? Do you define it with points or the way we're playing? Well, if it's points, then we're in form. If it's the way we've been playing, Luton, we were poor for 96 minutes, whatever it was. Never the shot on target. What was the next game? Next game, first half, woeful. Oxford. Woeful, first half, I was there. Second half, came back in it and won the game. And then we play Blackburn, first half, scored after a minute, happy days. 8 minutes, a deflection, 2-0 up, flying. Second half, wheels come off, we don't perform. Last night, first half, they looked a team 20 points ahead of us. At times they looked as if they had 2 more players than us. Then the second half we waking up, but by that time we didn't have enough firepower or ruthless enough in the last third. So, points-wise, we've been in form. Performance-wise, we've not been in form, but we've got the points. And it's not about glamour, it's about getting points on the board. So now we have to really step up. We need points and we need to be a wee bit more glamorous, and not so much glamorous, but we need to grind out results and get wins. Draws at this stage are no good. There's 5 games left. Kev says, Millwall Saturday, difficult, typical that Josh Coburn scored last night and it happened to be the winner against Sheffield United. And up Chris Wilder, he says. I think Big Coburn scored after 21 minutes. Bernie, you up for a change in the summer? Your commentary sounds like you replaced Carrick for the record. I wouldn't consider it. So Bernie, are you up for the change in the summer? Your commentary sounds like you'd replace Carrick for the record. I wouldn't consider it. Jeff, no. I wouldn't get involved in that. That's not my decision. That's Michael Carrick. That's Steve Gibson's. But have we improved in the 2.5 year tenure if we don't get in the playoffs? No. First year we did get in the playoffs. Second year we were 7th. This year we've huffed and puffed and we're back in the top 6. We've got the best squad that Michael Carrick says that he's assembled. Squad, not the best 11. So yeah, have we get better? Have we improved in 2.5 years? Is the football better? No. Is the defending better? No. Is the forward line better? No. We are sharing goals around. Laugh get 11, Conway's get 12, Azaz get 10. And by the way, player of the year for me, Azaz. Yeah, he's blown hot and cold in recent weeks or whatever, so is the team. But Azaz, 10 goals, made umpteen goals, played the most games, but he did very well. I was critical in the first 11 games, but big enough and bold enough to say, do you know what? He's my player of the season. Laugh played half a season, very good. Doak played half a season, very good. And they would be the 3 in the mix. But for me, it has to be Azaz for player of the season. I don't think there's anybody you could put above him. Or is there? If you get somebody different, and I'll read it out. So we start slow against Millwall. We won't get anything from the game. We need to be out of the blocks, pressurising from the kickoff. Don't let them settle. It's the only way to win games. Yeah, we have to be on the front foot from the off. We don't have to go willy-nilly and gung-ho and try and score. It's not that. But let's go for the off and try and get a goal and then settle things down. I mean, if you get a goal like we did against Blackburn, it just settles the nerves and takes the edge off it. But obviously, the chances of scoring another goal in the first minute are few and far between. Form is the thing. Points will follow. We have scraped through too many games this season. Yeah, that's true as well. So where are we? Nashville, Boodmill, Saturday, difficult technical Coburn. First decent team we've faced, and we go 1-0 down after 2 minutes. We should have been 3-0 down. That's for Jack, so less than happy. Mel says, Ian Ashow's poor Bernie, can't run, can't shoot, and at times looks disinterested. I don't want to be overcritical, lads. I'd be more critical of the guys that brought him in than the guy himself. The guy doesn't look fit. Sometimes when he got interviewed when he first arrived, he didn't look as if he wanted to be here. Maybe his style, he was laid back and didn't look too fussed. And the vibes you get off him doesn't really look. He scored 1 goal, that's it. Ian Ashell's poor Benny, can't run, can't shoot. I've read that. Yeah, dysentery, I've read that. Our efforts at goal last night were abysmal, actually, Joe. Neil says, bloody Bristol scoring in the last minute against Muggers West Brom. Yeah, as I say, I watched the highlights about 12:30 last night. And I seen they came down the inside right, they played it a lad and he just turned and he's whipped it. It was a good goal, but last minute, Mugger must be pulling his hair out. TC, I don't think it's Terry Cochrane. Great to see Bruce Rare is a tenure 40 years. Bernie, yeah, who's that from? TC. Maybe it is Terry Cochrane because Terry's going to be there with Archie Stevens along with Ian Baird and Pallister and Mowbray and Steve Gibson and Bruce Rare. Yeah, it's 40 years in Teesside. It's a celebration. A couple of lads arranged it for myself. It's on the 30th of October. It was at Riverside, but because of the demand of tickets, over a few hundred sold already. Although it's a long way off. It's at the Town Hall. So it's going to be at Town Hall. And if you're interested, for info, 7.enterprises. So that's the word 7.enterprises at hotmail.co.uk. 7.enterprises@hotmail.co.uk, or you can phone, I've written it here because I would forget, 07368 870 120. The guys like Ian Baird going to be there, my favourite striking partner of all time. Gary Pallister, Stuart Downing, Matt Proctor, I'm reading them by the way, I wouldn't remember them. David Wheater, David Hodgson, remember Hodgie with the Tash, Nicky Moan, Tony Mowbray, Eric Gates, I know he never played, he was my pal. Mickey Horsell was my pal, FA Cup winner. Gates is a UEFA Cup winner with Ipswich. Craig Hignett scored the first ever goal at Riverside. John Henry scored the last goal at Ayresome Park. Neil Madison, Terry Coughlin, Archie Stevens I mentioned, Jeff Winter, Premier League referee and pal, Steve Vickers, Steve Gibson I mentioned, Julio Arca, George Friend, Peter Wright, Yorkshire vet, Demi Constantopoulos. So they're all going to be there. Bruce Rare, I did phone him during the week and asked him about it, and I'd emailed him, I texted him and he never got back, and I was hoping he's okay. And anyway, I got through to his son and he says, you have to phone my dad, and I phoned him, and yeah, it was one of them, you know, you phone your ex-boss and you're thinking, oh. Anyway, he's coming, so that's brilliant because I'm a big fan of Bruce Rare's. Great for football club, for Middlesbrough. Greatest achievement in Middlesbrough Football Club's 150-year history, in my opinion. You know, relegated, liquidated, bankrupt, going local lads, peanuts to spend if he did have peanuts. And then third, second, first, relegating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. That's some achievement, that. From form, I've read that. Agpom, Latty Laugh got sick, got stick rather, at the beginning, but Ian Ash was totally off the pace. His loan will be ended before he gets fit. Oh, listen, Ian Ash will be off end of the season. Travers will be off because Bournemouth will sell him to whoever wants him. Hopefully are we in the mix? We've got 3 goals. How many goalkeepers do you need? Yeah, I don't think even Junior, I think he'll be gone. I think they'll all return to the parent club. Excuse me. Ian Ash, poor Bernard, reference a goal last night. Excuse me. Yeah, so I read the TC one out. Jono says, I'd rather have Conway than Patrick Bamford. What do you mean? What now? At the age-wise, or? No, well, look, Conway's done good, but Bamford, I don't get why the fans crucify Bamford. He left, yeah, and came back, and then he left again. But he scored 19 league goals. Would have got more league goals, but for negative Aitor Karanka playing him on the right wing when he was a centre forward. Remember Stuani? Played Stuani out wide. He went abroad, banged him in for fun up the middle. So, Borough players, Coburn, excuse me, is loan at Millwall. This is for Jojo. Will he play on Saturday against the Borough? No. Jojo, he can't play. The deal is he can't play. He just can't play. Contractual thing. We've loaned him there, and he can't play against his club because he's still a property. Paul says, why does Bamford get booed? We've covered that. Rhea should have a statue outside the ground, Bernie. I don't think he gets applauded for what he did for football. David Fletcher. Hey, listen, without Rhea, there might have been no football club. Without the 86 team, there might have been no football club. They were all loyal, stayed put. Every contract was broken by the football club. Every player could have walked away. The modern player now, imagine it happening now. We wouldn't have any players left. Everybody would go. Be an exodus. Off. But back then there was loyalty, a bit of loyalty in the game, and a lot of lads were local and did genuinely love the club. Didn't have to kiss the badge and fake it, like a lot of modern players. We genuinely loved the club. And we could, as I say, our contracts were broken with the football club, weren't getting paid. This is for the younger viewers. Training in local parks. I'm just trying to educate, but not if you have any sympathy. We get through it, and third, second, first was amazing. Very first playoffs ever. Talking about Borough and getting promoted, Paul Wilkinson was my guest last night in the Legends, and my former teammate and striking partner. Walco scored the first ever Premier League goal for Middlesbrough. I didn't know that till I looked up a wee bit of research before I spoke to him last night. So he scored the first ever. There's a wee question for you down the line. You can do it in a pub quiz, whatever. So who scored Borough's first ever Premier League goal? Paul Wilkinson is against Coventry. I think Bamford gets stick everywhere he plays. Chelsea, us and Leeds. No idea why. The thing I'll say about Bamford, he's a gentleman off the field. I've spoken to him when he was at Middlesbrough a couple of times. He's a gentleman. I think he's an educated lad. And he's a very good footballer. He's a very good footballer. He's got a lovely touch, bit of finesse, never looks ruffled. He's not brave. At Leeds, you need to be nuts and you need to put it about. He's not that type of player. I think that's probably why he gets booed at Leeds. He's just a very good footballing brain. And don't forget, a couple of years ago at Leeds, he was buying under Bielsa and he got an England cap. That's how good he was a couple of years ago. He's had his injuries and been in and out of the team, and I don't know if Farker or whatever he's called, I don't know if he fancies him, but he got him off the bench last night. He did score, and in hindsight, he should have been a goal. Andrew Smith says, Dear Bernie, people accuse me of being negative. No, I'm simply a realist. Our so-called turn in form is simply, it's a long-winded one, I'm going to respect it. Our so-called turn in form is simply preparing or papering over the cracks. Ian Asho is the same level as Michael Ricketts. Jesus, what on earth were we thinking signing him? I'm sorry, but we are simply not good enough, and there's no way we will make the playoffs, and if we do, we'll probably get beat. Carrick looks clueless on the touchline and stands there like he doesn't know what to do. We were chasing the game in the last few minutes last night, and he sticks on Fry. Do you know when Fry was coming on, I turned to the lads I was sitting with and I says, he's going to put him up front. It's like big Harry Maguire, Man United sometime put him up front. We decided to put Fry up front. A defender. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Ryan McGree on the bench? Why not play him? I've mentioned him. You would have thought we'd have been practicing rugby and training with some of the shots we had last night. Why on earth did we let Coburn go out and loan? If we can buy them in from Millwall, why can't he do it for us? If we get into and win the playoffs, I'll donate £20 to a charity of your choice, Bernie. Big changes needed in the summer, starting with the head coach and his backroom staff. So that's Andrew Smith. No holding back. Both barrels. I like his straight talking. I don't agree with everything Andrew says, but yeah, he's a realist. I'm a realist. I'm not a fantasist. Have we had a good season? Has been good to watch, entertaining, top drawer? No, far from it. Far from it. An indifferent, turbulent season. Injuries galore. Players leaving. Players injured. Selling my best players. I get there's reasons, but don't say it's been a good season. But we're in the top six and fans are still booing, they're still not happy. Yeah, you're going to get the guys who don't want to criticise anybody or anything. But they're living in cuckoo land. This is an opinionated game. Life's opinionated. You're either a sheep or a shepherd. I happen to be a shepherd. Be a sheep if you want, but take your rose-tinted glasses off and stand back and breathe in the air and dilute the season and look at it. Take your Borough stuff off and just look at it as a footballing fan. If you've got any knowledge at all, just look at the season. Turbulent, inconsistent, boring at times. And we're still at the top six and we're still moaning. And I'm one of them. Some of these games I've went to, I thought, this is boring. Pass. Fanny about. Don't get it. We've stopped the fanning about. We did it a wee bit recently, but we've sort of we've canned it. We were hitting balls up in the air last night. I'd rather have that than that fanning about. It drives me crackers. Money is the main motivation for these players. No passion for the team. Strolling around, checking bank accounts. David Fletch says, Walcott scored Highfield Road, Coventry. I was there. Yeah, David, that's right. I did say it's Coventry and it was at Highfield Road. I didn't say the venue. Stephen Guthrie says, Bernie, I don't understand how Carrick can let his team knock the ball around at the back when we're getting beat. But Stephen, it's like a lot of these coaches follow suit. They all do the same things. And the majority of teams, whether in the Premier or the 4th Division or not, they're all playing the same style of football. But once you go over that white line, it's a cliche, but it's true. You're your own man. If I'm out there last night and we're 1-0 down after 2 minutes and we're fanning about the back, I'd be giving my teammates an ear bashing. Shouting, bin that, get it forward, hoof it, get it in the channel, whatever. But stop that messing about. I'm running about like a headless chicken up front. They're fanning about, getting loads of touches. And when you look at the stats, it'll tell you that so-and-so get 90% accuracy passing. What he should do is passing it square with the centre forward 10 yards off him. My granda could play there in the modern game, getting 90% passing rate, accuracy. When the guy's 10, 15 yards off you and you're playing it 10 yards to your teammate. It's rank. Won't be top 6 at 10 tonight. Coventry will beat Portsmouth. Well, Craig, that's what we would say. I think that I can't see if Coventry fought it tonight, then their wheels have come off as well. But I think the last couple of games have been against top opposition. Sheffield United to get battered. I think the next game was Burnley, who are top drawer as well. Look what automatic promotion candidates. So I can see that happening as well. A few minutes left. I'll read these couple and that's it. If we go behind, we should just go for it. If we can beat, at least with a goal. I'm for that as well. Fortune favours the brave. Last night from the we didn't get much time to settle. They just hit us on the break. And I had predicted before the game, pace could hurt us. They've got 3-4 wispy greyhounds who've got pace and they've got youth in their team side and they exposed us last night. We have not got much pace in our side. Who's pacing our team? I mean, that James is like, he's electric. The Welsh lad. He was super quick. There was one run he went by about 3-4 years. Then he dived. I think he ran out of puff, to be honest. They wanted a foul. It wasn't a foul. And he never got it. But he was dangerous as. So that was that. Hold on. I got another one. Decent team of face. No, I've read all them. So listen. We're finishing. Thanks very much. It's time anyway. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm back again Saturday between 5 and 6 on Facebook and YouTube Live. Obviously discussing the Millwall game. Hopefully we're in that top 6 after tonight. If we're not, hopefully we're back there on Saturday. We get the required result, 1 or 2 go behind. And then on Monday it's part 2, Top BS podcast, which is free. It's Chris Morris part 2. Chris Morris, of course, was former Borough player, Celtic, Sheffield Wednesday and Republic of Ireland International. Played all the World Cup games under the big late great Jack Charlton. Great guy, Chris. Fit lad. Played 55 games in succession at Celtic the centenary year. He talks about that. I mean, the modern player can hardly play 5. He played 55. Incredible. So anyway, listen, thanks very much for joining us. And I'll as I say, Saturday back at 5 until 6 and hopefully discussing a victory. Up the Borough. Cheers. Thank you.